Good evening. I would request Dr. Harpreet Kaur Garcha, President Chhattisgarh iSPELL Forum and the event coordinator of this month. Please, ma'am, to start the event formally.
Thank you, Pramodji. A very good evening to one and all. I take this opportunity to extend my immense pleasure to accord a very warm welcome to our distinguished guests, our keynote speaker, chairpersons, General Secretary iSPELL, executive members from various other forums of India, and the august congregations linked with us on this virtual platform of Zoom and YouTube for this 80th Sunday Sahityak Satsang of Indian Society for the Promotion of English Language and Literature, popularly known by the acronym iSPELL. iSPELL was founded by the like-minded fraternity of English on 5th of September 2020, and since then it has marched forward with commitment to provide a platform for the teaching fraternity to progress, perform, and hone their teaching skills to match with the changing and challenging times by arranging seminars, conferences, symposia, and workshops. Committed to excellence in standards, research, and practice that enhance English language and literature, teaching and learning, iSPELL is devoted towards equity, diversity, multiculturalism, multilingualism, and individual language rights, offering an array of themes and subjects to be explored and deliberated every week on this Sunday Sahityak Satsang, the flagship program. And this month, the thrust area was chosen as Dalit literature, which was extensively explored by the keynote speakers and on like Dalit and non-Dalit texts and the autobiographies of the regional languages and their search towards identity. And today, iSPELL comes up with yet another shade of the perspective and of the same theme and the Bhagavad-Gita and the Karma theory. The Bhagavad-Gita, as we all know, is the most beloved scriptures of Indian thought, culture, and ethics, with a unique pan-Indian influence, besides being the most translated text after Bible. However, Gita has been interpreted in different ways in terms of essence and relevance to the contemporary world by all ideological currents, be it colonial, liberal, radical, Gandhian, Ambedkarian, or the right-wing leaders within the Indian nation and beyond. And one of the prime chapters of this epic is the law of karma. The 10th chapter, the 91st hymn, Rig Veda, provides lineage to the theory of karma in Bhagavad-Gita. And there's a vital link between the karma theory and the caste system, and consequently the so-called Dalit community. It not only determines the future destiny, but also shapes in the society and the structure of its ideology. The problems of inequality, discrimination, and exploitation are the products of the cosmic causation of karma and the logic of this infallible causation can't be questioned. Attempt to question is considered Dharma, that is irreligious or evil. However, Gita neither condemns or endorses the discrimination caste system as practiced today, And it calls for a selfless action which has inspired many because of its spiritual texts, which establish a person's right to question everything. And today, to discuss and elaborate on this perennial topic of great interest, and which is an important and inevitable part of our social fabric, we are honored to have with us Dr. Manjot Kaur, a Since Ayurveda, Melbourne, Australia. She is a voracious scholar who has delivered talks on this subject on various national and international platforms on Bhagavad-Gita and the Karma theory. And as a chairperson of the event, we are privileged to have Dr. Vishaka Chauhan, Principal, Philip PG College, Bassi, Jaipur. And Dr. Rachana Mishra will roadmap the event as Masters of Ceremony. But before I hand over the proceedings, a word about the moderator. Dr. Rachana Mishra has enriching experience about 20 years in the field of education, both as in the private as well as the public sector. She worked as a lecturer in government institutes. She worked as a postgraduate teacher in Gyan Ganga Educational Academy, and she also held the post of training officer in Government Women Industrial Training Institute for almost 5 years. Currently, she is working as an assistant professor in English at Government J. Yoganandam Chhattisgarh College, Raipur. Over to you, ma'am, for further proceedings. Rachana, ma'am.
Well, thank you, ma'am. Thank you for your gestures of encouragement. I extend you all my warm greetings on iSPELL's 80th session of Sunday Sahityik Satsang. As ma'am has discussed the topic briefly, relevance of Bhagavad-Gita and the Karma theory. Bhagavad-Gita is definitely, as madam already discussed, one of very significant scripture for elevating the consciousness of human being. The lines from Gita say, Chatur Varnyam Maya Sristam Gud Karma Vibhagashah Tasya Kartaramapi Mam Vidya Kartaram Vyayam, which means I have created 4 Varnas, that is Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, and Shudra, based on the karma and deeds of jivas, that is the living beings. And though I am the creator of all these varnas, you should remember that I am yet the non-doer and unalterable. The Gita was composed in a cultural setting and time in which caste was a default social hierarchy. Since social hierarchy is a very natural phenomena, most of the species have it as a very natural phenomena. The problem of inequality, discrimination, exploitation, oppression was not in question then. But now these all things are big problems. When karma and dharma synchronize, they pave way for cooperation, togetherness, mutual love, and understanding. In the series of these exquisite deliberations organized by iSPELL, we are privileged to have with us Dr. Manjot Kaur as the keynote speaker in today's session. Dr. Manjot Kaur specializes in Ayurveda, as we all know, world's oldest holistic healing system, with her expertise in Reiki and intuitive healing. Her professional career includes working at Ayurveda Department, Moolchand Hospital, Delhi, and as Assistant Medical Superintendent at Shri Balaji Action Medical Center, Delhi. She rendered her services with Ayush Ministry on the project of Traditional Knowledge Digital Library. She ventured into her entrepreneurial journey as a practitioner in Melbourne, Australia in 2012. Her clinic, Essence Ayurveda, has received a tremendous response with clients coming from all over Melbourne, interstate as well as overseas. She has earned good recognition among the healing community in Australia. As a founding member of NGO Ayurveda World, she escalated the promotion of Ayurveda to the wider community of Australia. Now she hosted international symposium Sattva 2020 and organized events on mental health quite successfully. She excels in public speaking and connects with people on a deeper level. During the COVID-19 lockdown, she organized live meditations, and information sessions virtually. By initiating Facebook group Innate Wisdom, helping many people to cope up with pandemic situations. Her mission is to empower people with practical tools for self-realization, leading a healthy and happy life. She aims to make healing go viral. We definitely welcome you, ma'am, in this session. And I would request our Honorable ma'am, Navjot Kaur ma'am, to enlighten us with her valuable utterances. We are all very eager to listen to you, ma'am. Navjot ma'am, can you hear me?
Dr. Manjot, please unmute yourself.
Yeah, it wasn't allowing me to unmute. Good evening, everyone. It's almost good night here, 10 p.m. in Melbourne. But it's great to be a part of this. And should I start my keynote now?
Right.
You want me to
Yes,
start?
please.
Okay. Okay. So I'm very excited by the conversations you are having, because Dharma and Karma, they go hand in hand. And whereas Dharma is the innate wisdom, which is incidentally also the name of my Facebook group, it is the inner capabilities that we are born with. But today I'm going to talk here about karma, because the karma, the action of the person, can always take over the dev. So in Ayurveda, when we study the reason for the diseases, and we study about, okay, how do we work with, if this is in this person's destiny to be sick or to be well, what is the relevance of healing? We always say that the person's actions can overtake their fate or their destiny. And this power is in our hands. And this is where the karma becomes a very, very powerful concept. It is, when applied correctly, it can change lives. So what I'm going to present here is a very, my understanding of around 30 years of doing Reiki, energy healing, and 20 years of doing the Ayurvedic work, and how the key concepts of the Ayurvedic body types, Ayurvedic mind types have been included in the Bhagavad-Gita, and how the karma can become a very empowering tool, this concept, this law of karma, when we take it beyond the fear. Because one of the fascinating things growing up, I have heard is like, do not do any wrong or it will come back to hurt you. And we constantly live in this fear that we have to do the right thing, otherwise we might get punished, or bad things might happen to us. And what I want to do with today's audiences is to take you beyond that fear. How about you're just doing the right thing for the sake of doing right thing, because it's a part of who you are, and you are not taking any action because you are fearful of the consequences, but instead you are choosing to take every action from a place of love, from that intention of godliness or compassion, whatever you like to call it. There are so many words and feelings that we can use to describe it. Either it's compassion or divineness or beauty or love, but not delving into karma from that fearful aspect that karma will come to bite me, but instead that this is who I am. This is how I live, moment to moment. And that changes our entire viewpoint of the way we are living. And when we can overcome that fear, it helps us to go beyond the limitations that are placed by the society. As we were talking about the caste system, the hierarchy, the Dalits, that they have been bound by that caste system. And even in Bhagavad-Gita, like Lord Krishna says to Arjun, you are the Kshatriya, you are the warrior. You can't go, if you now put down the weapons and you run away from this battlefield, you are a coward. You can't do that because that is your dharma. So even then, when we are in those limitations in lifetime of the caste system, cultural conditioning, our own fears, our own limitations, how can we bring this beautiful understanding of Bhagavad Gita and the law of karma so that we feel empowered? We don't feel like I am trapped and I have to do this. Instead, we can approach it from a place of divineness as intended. So first, I would like to start with karma. As most of you would know, karma simply means action. And action by itself is very interesting. Action by itself is neither good nor bad. Action is simply action. This action can happen physical. Sorry, I'm just changed this. Thank you. My screen has frozen for a moment. Can you all hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
You're very audible.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay. So when we talk about karma, the action in itself doesn't mean, it doesn't have anything behind it. For example, a knife cuts.
Excuse me, ma'am.
The karma. Yeah.
Excuse me, ma'am, do you have a PPT with you? No.
I did prepare a slide. I did prepare this.
Is it showing? Because it's not showing this side.
Okay.
Are you sharing your screen, ma'am?
Can you see it now?
Yeah. It's visible now.
Yeah. Okay. Awesome. So karma by action by itself doesn't mean anything. Like the knife cuts, that is a simple action, karma, a work that is happening. But the intention behind it is more important. When a surgeon uses that knife to heal or cut away the piece of cancer from the body, then it becomes life-saving, and we call it as a good karma. And when somebody is using that knife to cut someone's throat, a robber, then it becomes a bad karma. Right? But it is the intention behind the action is still the knife cutting, but it is the intention behind it that makes it either good or bad as we understand it. And I will come beyond after a few slides. We will also discuss how there is no good karma or bad karma. That is our concepts from our limited viewpoints of what we can see in this space and lifetime. And then we think that, okay, this is a good karma or this is a bad karma. But when we zoom out of it and look at a bigger picture, we can see everything is just one consciousness. It is almost like the most fascinating vision when Arjun finally gets to understand and he says, "Dear Lord, I have always known you as my friend, but can I see your Mahavishnu Roop?" And Lord shows him, and Arjun is so overwhelmed by what he sees because everything exists within that consciousness. And if everything exists within that consciousness, what would you call good or bad? It takes us beyond it into that it just is, right? So karma can happen on various levels. Many people think that when we are taking action from the body, the physical karma, that is the only sort of karma. That's it. I didn't do it. I thought about it, but I didn't do it. But the thing is that the verbal karma and mental karma are as binding as the physical karma. Even if you have not physically harmed anyone, but if you have said harsh words and hurt their heart, or if you have thought some negative thoughts about them, hurtful thoughts about them, it is still the karma happening. It is still the action happening, and that action can still be binding for us. And therefore, sometimes it seems like a trap, ongoing cycle of karma, which feels like you can never break through it. But that is not the case. This is where Lord Krishna also gives us a pathway of how to go beyond it. Not be limited, like we said, about the caste or the religion or the culture we are born in, but take this knowledge, apply it to life, and make it into this wisdom that makes us take action every day from that place of divineness, from that place of freedom that comes when we acknowledge its presence. So karma is the action, and as Lord Krishna says to Arjun, like there is no inaction in the entire universe. Inaction cannot happen. Even when we are thinking that we are sitting in inaction, there is a lot of action going on in the body. From the tiny molecules, from the tiny cells in the body to the vast planets, everything is constantly moving. The universe is based on the concept of Shakti moving, so the inaction cannot happen. Then how do we go beyond this karmic cycle? If action is supposed to happen, inaction cannot happen, then how will we break through the karma then? The answer is given in the non-action, which means nishkam karma, which we understand as not to attach the ownership to the karma. Because when we attach the ownership to the karma, that is when it becomes our responsibility. That is when it becomes our burden to carry, and we get trapped in this cycle. So why do we want to understand karma? It is simple. Being born as humans in this lifetime, at a very basic level, all of us are seeking a joyful, a peaceful, happy, comfortable life. We just want to be happy, healthy, do our thing, and not face too much challenges or difficulties in life, right? So this is why when things happen, when good things are happening, we don't question them, we go with the flow. But when something happens that makes us uncomfortable, accident happens, or a disease happens, some loved one dies, passes away, that is when we start questioning things. We start asking, what is our purpose here on this earth? Why are these things happening to me? And another very common myth is that, oh, but I pray so much, I do so many rituals, I am so religious, I believe in God, then why bad things are happening? Which is also interesting, because in a way we are in a bargain condition with the God that, okay, I will pray to you so that you make sure that me, my loved ones, my family is all safe, right? So this is when things start to get hot, when challenges start coming into life, that is when we start asking this question, but why me? Why is this happening to me? And that is when we start to explore this concept. Did I do anything wrong? Was there something wrong in my approach or in the way I did things that has caused this bad thing to happen to me? Yes, I hope all of you agree with it, that usually it is in these harshest circumstances of life that we start to question our existence, our purpose. When things are going well, we don't ask, who am I? What is my purpose? Yeah, because we are so busy going with the wave of life, riding the wave of life, doing what we need to do. It is only when the things start to fall apart, it is when things start to go wrong, that we start asking this question, why? Why is this happening to me? And that is when we start delving into the karma theory. So what does karma bind? Who is karma binding, right? This is a very interesting thing. The ego is a very interesting concept, because as Lord Krishna says, the karma cannot bind the soul. Soul is the part of that divine consciousness. So the soul is always in a state of not attached to the action, but doing the action as needed, which is what we call dharma. It's just following its natural laws. One way of looking at dharma is, it is the following of the natural laws. The planets have to go in an orbit around the sun. That is their dharma. That is their natural laws. So who is the karma binding then? The karma binds the ego. The karma cannot bind the soul. The soul is free of the karma, but the ego, ahankar, personality, that binds with the karma, creates a bonding with the karma, and then it feels like the soul is suffering. There is a very delicate difference, very subtle difference in that. Now, you might ask me, well, what is this ego? Because when I am talking, I am talking. How do I identify this is ego, this is soul? You know, what is happening? So in Ayurveda, actually, there's a beautiful understanding of the various layers of how we engage with the world. And this happens in the karmic theory as well. So for example, there is a rock in front of me and my eyes are looking at that rock. There is a connection happening between that rock and the eyes. That is the first layer of interaction that is happening. Our senses The sense organs are observing material things in the world. The ears, they are listening, what words are being said. The eyes are seeing what are the things around me. This is the first layer. And when that interaction happens, this information is taken by the sense organs and taken deeper into the manas, the mind, which then starts saying, according to its own samskars or the past experiences, previous experiences, oh, this looks like a good crystal rock, I like it. Oh, this looks like that rock that hurt my foot, I don't like it. So manas starts saying, I like it or I don't like it, which is, again, as we will come to it in the next slide, what causes dukh. So in Ayurveda, the whole concept is let's get rid of the dukh, which is happening in the world. Why does dukh happen? Dukh happens only with two things, icha and dvesh, right? We have our expectations. When those expectations are not fulfilled, we feel pain. Whatever we desired, we do not get, we feel pain. And dvesh is aversion. Whatever we did not want, that starts showing up in our life more and more. Then we start feeling the pain. We feel unhappy, right? So like take an example of a child. They wanted the ice cream and they didn't want to eat the broccoli. So if you do not give them ice cream, but give them broccoli, they will feel unhappy. So the most of the dukh that comes from that likings and dislikings, which again are a part of the karmic cycle based on all the past lives we have had, how those influence us and create this inner, again, the word dharma comes, an inner innate desire that resonates with us. When a child is born, how many times have we looked at children and said, oh, it looks like you must have been a singer in the past life. You just pick up the rags, or we look at a child and say, oh, he must have been a dancer in the past life. Look at the moves. We automatically do that. Even when a child is a year-old, 2-year-old, too young to decide what they can do based on the actions they are doing in those moments, we sort of get an impression and we start saying these things. So when the sense organs connect with the world, our first interaction happens. That is still not binding. Then the mana starts saying, I like it or not like it. And that is where the binding of the karma happens, because based on that manas, that ego ID personality, we will take an action. We will react to the world. Yeah, because beyond it is buddhi. Buddhi is the intellect. The intellect then says, no, ice cream is not good for you, don't eat it. So it is trying to guide us in the right direction. But then we have to make a decision. And this is where karma binds. We make a choice. And this happens to us all the time. If you take a moment to reflect on your day, or even in the last 30 minutes, how many choices you have had to make. You've had to make a choice to sit in a place, turn on the computer, log in onto the Zoom, listen to this, make sure the audio is working, video is working, making sure everyone else in the family is quiet, or your Wi-Fi is working. We are constantly making choices. And what binds the karma is the choice that is made from place of fear. And it is with deep introspection that we can find, am I making this choice because of fear, or am I making this choice because of love? Yeah. So the karma is always binding this ego ID personality. There is another way of looking at ego ID personality. If you have a glass vessel and you dip it in the ocean and keep it underwater, you might think, okay, the water in that glass bottle, is this the water of ocean, or is this the water of the bottle? Because the bottle is still inside the ocean and it is glass and you can see the water of the ocean, but yet even inside it, it's still the water of the ocean inside the bottle. That is exactly what our ego is like. That ocean water is like supreme consciousness, one consciousness that we all are. And then these glass bottles are formed, various shapes, And the water in the ocean is still that consciousness, but we can still identify it as this shape, this particular bottle's water. So ego helps us to exist in this world and navigate it, because if I do not know who I am in this world, I would not be able to live my day-to-day life. But we also need to develop a practice to go beyond it and know that even though this glass bottle is holding my identity for as long as it exists, when it breaks, we will be free of this binding. I am still the water of the ocean. So the journey of the soul happens like this. It is almost like that water of the ocean evaporating and going on a journey, on its own journey to explore. This is what we call the Maya, the illusion, the duality. It is the water of the ocean, but it separates. It goes as a cloud, falls as a rain, does its own journey of being a river, going through various lands, absorbing minerals, absorbing colors, and then it comes back into the ocean again and merges and becomes one. So think of it that our soul is like that water taking that journey. And this is what Lord Krishna said in in Gita, but also what is mentioned in Ayurveda, that when the body dies, because the soul can never die, when the body dies, the 5 elements, earth, water, fire, air, ether, these 5 elements, along with the mind, the manas, intellect, the buddhi, and ego, which is the ahankar, the personality, ID, they all go with the life itself. That is the soul, the part of that soul, and it travels to the next body. And he says that as you change clothes, the soul changes the bodies when the time is right. So the reason I'm mentioning this is because this question comes very commonly with law of karma. Do past lives exist? How are past lives influencing our this life? If I did something in the past life, why should I be punished for it now? Why wasn't it taken care of in the past life? So there are certain karmas. There are karmas which have instant fruit, and it is like that knife. You just cut it. You cut your hand and blood will come. That is instant karma, and you see instant cause and effect happening there. But then there is a deeper karma where it might, based on the past karmas, that wound will get infected. It can get infected to the point where the doctor might say you have to cut off the part of the hand, So that is the past karma then happening. So some seeds, like you plant strawberries, they bear fruit in 3 months, but you plant a big tree, oak tree, it will take years to become a tree. In the same way, certain karma, certain actions bear fruit while we are alive in this same body, and we can feel their effects in the next 3 weeks, in the next year, in the next 15 years. But then there's certain karmas which become like seeds, but their time is not right, and they only bear fruit in the next lifetime. But the reason they can bear fruit is because whatever you are holding in this body, whatever impressions the mind is creating, that with the mind and intellect will go with the soul to the next part. So we have touched on this before. How does karma bind? Karma binds with expectations. Karma binds with intense emotions of grief, hatred, and fear. When we are holding on to these emotions, more we bind the karma. It is almost like, I'm thinking of this, like my mom would say, you have to clean the room, whether you do it smiling or crying is your choice, but you have to do this task. Right? It is almost similar like that in life. We have to live through this life. We have to do our day-to-day responsibilities. We can either do them smiling from a place of, okay, I will do it with joyfulness and gratitude, or we can do it crying. Why me? Why do I have to do this? And this is too hard. This is what the kids do, right? So when we understand these emotions, when we understand how to let go of these heavy emotions, because it is almost like if you put a lot of things in the ocean, The ones that are light will float away, but ones that are heavy will go to the bottom of the ocean. They will sit there till you actually go in and bring them up. It is the same thing with the emotions. The good emotions like beauty, joy, gratitude, they're light. They just float away. Like we feel so floating with these emotions. But the heavy emotions of fear and grief and hatred, they go and sink in the bottom of our subconscious. So when someone says something to us that really brings pain to us, makes us feel bad, we hold on to that thought and keep it in our subconscious. And then for it to be released, then we have to do the work. We have to do the work to dig that thought and then release it rather than keep on holding on to it. And this is where the karmic patterns come up. When that belief is ready to be released, you will start noticing in your life similar things happening. So many times when we work with clients, one thread comes up like, I feel like I'm not being respected at work. For example, one of the client mentioned this. And then I said, where else do you notice this? She's like, actually, I notice it in my family. I feel like they're not respecting me. And then going deeper, actually, I feel like in the past, my friend circle feels like they didn't respect me. And actually, I am thinking deeper now. I do not respect myself. I am not standing up for myself. So this is how whatever is happening in life, every single day, the thing that makes you angry, the thing that makes you scared, the thing that makes you sad is an opportunity. It is a blessing in disguise to go deeper into your subconscious and ask, how is this what pattern is it bringing up in my subconscious? How can I work with this pain and let it go forever? Rather than being bound with it for the karmic cycle, let me use this opportunity to release it. And this is what we will come again in the next slide when I talk about it. Atonement, paschatap. What is paschatap? We will come to that. That is what helps us to release the karma as well. So this is a common timeline that is given when we are subjected to the senses and allow them to predominate. That means we are engaging with the eyes and ears. Whatever we listen, whatever we see, we are believing it to be true, and we are totally engaged with them. The attachments come. Then we are like, I like this, I do not like this. From those attachments, we get the desire. If I like this, I want more of this. Can I have more of this? Can I have it forever? From unfulfilled desires comes the frustration. And when you cannot have that, then the anger starts building. But why can't I have it? And from frustration, the delusion comes. And then the mind starts creating illusion. How can I get it? Maybe I can do this. Maybe this will work. Maybe I should do this. And from the delusions, we get confused and lose our reasoning, which in turn leads to our destruction. Because from that place of the scattered mindset, from that place of confusion, when we really, really want something and we cannot think beyond that attachment, then we make choices that bring pain to us, right? For example, someone says, I really want to eat that chocolate and I will not stop myself from eating it, even though the doctor has said, no, you can't have it. And then later on, it will bring the pain because there is an attachment to that sweetness, to that sweet taste. Yeah. So again, this attachment, the intention behind action is what's binding. Okay. Because there is a simple thing, like there is a physical craving and an emotional craving. If the body itself is wanting this sweetness, it will show that craving. I want sweet. And you eat a little bit of natural sweet like raisins or dates, and you start feeling satisfied. But if it is an emotional craving, it will be for unhealthy things and it won't stop no matter how much you feed it. Have you ever had like, okay, let me eat some chips or something, and then you can't stop yourself? That is the emotional craving because it is coming from an attachment to that food. But if we stop and eat food with full awareness, you will notice after you have had just the right amount of food, your body will tell you that, okay, this is enough. I don't need any more. But because we are not living in that awareness, we just continue to put the food in our body, and later we feel the pain. Oh, I'm feeling heavy, I'm feeling bloated, because we did not stop and hold the awareness there that, okay, this is enough. We got attached to the taste of it or some other attachment, and that attachment is now causing us the pain. So when we look at it like this, there is it seems very confusing, but I will bring it back to one point where it becomes easier, the easiest point to navigate it. But we can see in the part of the karmic cycle, in every moment, we are living the past karma based on the past experiences, based on the past actions we have taken, based on the past emotions we have been holding. We are facing the present now. This has come because of what has been planted in the past. But even as we are facing this past now, if we get emotion to it, if we have attachment to it, if we have aversion or attachment to it, we are putting the seeds for the future karma. Yeah. So when the things happen, and this is why this is the beauty of the rituals, when the things happen and we go to some a guide and they say, do this mantra chanting or do this prayers, it is simply so that our mind is focused on going through this time in the divine surrender, rather than focusing on becoming more angry and upset and fearful of why this is happening. We are changing our thinking ways and we are praying at that time. We are holding another so that we are not planting the seeds for the future. Right? So in every moment, in this moment, I'm living the effects of the past causes that have already happened. At the same time, in this moment, I am the cause of the future effects that will happen. So cause from the past, present effect is causing cause of the future, which will have effect in the future. So we are the middle point. At the same time, we are living the past. At the same time, we are creating the future. And this is why to navigate this, it seems overwhelming. It seems too big. If we are constantly living the fruits of the actions of the past, and we are constantly planting seeds for the next, then how do we go beyond this? When will we get an opportunity to go beyond this? That will happen in now. That will happen in the present moment. And that is what the law of karma is. When Lord Krishna says, do not be attached to the outcomes and simply fulfill your duty. So by fulfilling our duty, we are allowing the past karma to be affected, to be burnt away. It is being released. We are living the effects of that past karma by doing our duty, right? But by surrendering everything to the divine consciousness, we are not planting the seeds for the future because we are not taking any ownership of that. We are letting it, we are surrendering it to the divine. And that means the future seeds are not being planted. So then the now becomes the present moment. We are sort of burning those effects, but not creating the new effects. We are not planting the next seed. This is a reference frame for the understanding of these emotions and the binding we have talked about. So if we look at the world, everything is made of atoms, and atoms are 99.9% empty space, which means atoms are simply electromagnetic vibrations. This happens to us all of time. If I take you into a room with 100 strangers, you will instantly feel a connection with someone. And for someone, you might instantly feel, I don't want to be near this person. That is the frequency talking to the other person, right? So this frequency shows how there are different hertz levels. And if you see at the bottom is the teeniest point. So what happens when we are in a state of fear? When we are really afraid, we feel cold. We feel like, oh, we are frozen with fear. We feel constricted. We feel very small, very little, and we feel very heavy, as if the entire pressure is on us. We cannot move. These are the sure signs that we are in that fear. Whenever you are feeling heavy, cold, and you are feeling like you are limited and small, complete fear. And then we go up this chart, we get more and more of the love vibration. We are raising the frequency. We are making it expansive. And you can see from suffering and survival, as the transformation happens, we go to ultimate consciousness. That is pure love, divine love, Satchidanand, the truth, the bliss, the consciousness. That is that vast, expansive frequency. At that frequency, we feel like we are floating, and we are light, and we feel warm. And we have experienced it with our loved ones. When we are with our loved ones, doesn't the time go so quickly? We feel like, oh, we are floating and having such a good time. So on this chart, you can see shame, guilt, grief, fear, anger, and then it starts changing. Courage, willingness, acceptance, love, joy, peace, enlightenment. So what our work is, this is what enlightenment is, that every cell of our body is already vibrating at a frequency. And can we maintain that frequency at the frequency of love? Because every thought we are having is a frequency too. Every cell is vibrating at a frequency. Everything is an energy vibration. So in this moment right now, if you are sitting and you just check in with your whole body and you check in with your inner system, what am I feeling right now? Am I feeling happiness? Am I feeling excitement? Am I feeling sadness? Am I angry in this moment? Am I annoyed? What is going on within me? Then what happens? Then in this moment, we can change it. For the reasons unknown to us, known or unknown, whether they are from this life or past life, those reasons have brought us to this point where we are feeling these emotions. And now we can, with awareness, change them to love. And what better way to change it to love than to surrender it into the divine feet, to say, I surrender this to you, God. And when you connect with that and you surrender to God and you connect with that consciousness, automatically your vibration will be high. Your vibration will be of joyfulness. Even if you practice gratitude, even if we start saying thank you for the things we have, and try this activity when you are feeling really angry or scared or feeling like life is harsh, things are not going well for you. Take a moment to stop and simply say thank you, thank you, thank you, and see how your vibration will start changing. After a minute or 2 minutes of going into that gratitude, suddenly everything starts looking a bit brighter. Suddenly it feels like, yes, it's okay, I can manage, I can go through this. So when we are changing our frequency to that love frequency through the surrender, through connecting with the divine, we are not planting the seeds of future karma, and we are burning the effects of the past karma in a easeful and with divine grace. And then we are using this moment to become more free. Rather than staying bound in the cycle, we are creating an opportunity. And remember, only this moment is we have. The past is already gone. The future breath, no one knows is coming or not. This moment is the only moment we have. Then this is the only moment in which we can break through this cycle. This is the only moment in which we can make a choice, whether I'm going to create future karma or am I just going to burn the past one, and how am I going to do it? So one of the key words that comes up a lot is meditation. But the reason it is here is when we talk about the now, this moment is the only moment we have. Then in this moment, if we need to hold awareness. And that is what meditation is. Meditation is simply the act of observing. So what happens? We decide every day we are going to sit and look at the sky. And when it is sunny and bright, we are so happy. And when the thunderstorm comes, we start saying to the sky, please change. I need you to be bright and sunny. Will that happen? No, the weather will follow its own rules. But this is where we get trapped. When you go into meditation, and many of my students do that, when going into meditation, they are like, I need to feel calm and peace. I don't feel calm and peace. I feel all the angry thoughts, all the worry thoughts, they all come up and I cannot sit. Let them come. That is what meditation is, just holding awareness on what is happening. You are trying to tell the thunderstorm to go away, to say, I don't want you rain, I want bright and sunny. But what we need to do is simply sit and observe. Oh, it's raining today. All right. Oh, it's a thunderstorm today. Beautiful lightning. And this is exactly how we need to approach life. When things happen in life, we go into the chaos and overwhelm. Why is this happening? What is this happening? Instead, we need to just step back and look at it. Interesting. I'm curious. What is happening here? And that is all that meditation is, holding awareness. And if you are changing every day, in the 24 hours, so many experiences happen, so many words are said, so many information, new information comes in, how can you expect your meditation to be same every day? It will change with you, it will evolve with you, and not always all the techniques will work. You will have to adapt to the new techniques. And this is where you need to create a toolbox. What will I need today? You don't eat the same food every day. Sometimes you say, oh, I really want to feel like, I want to eat puri and kheer and celebrate life. And then some days you say, I'm feeling really heavy. I think I'll only have khichdi or dal. So in the same way, meditation is a toolbox, and you choose with awareness what is working for me. And this is where the combination of what has been mentioned in Bhagavad-Gita and Ayurveda comes through, where beautifully based on the body types and the mind types, we can choose the best yoga for us, the best philosophy, the best pathway that will work for us. So Vata is a combination of air and space, where movement happens. And where a lot of movement is happening, will you ask the air that please be still? So the Vata person cannot sit still. And they then fight with themselves because they're like, I cannot sit still for 2 minutes, but I try so hard to meditate. I'm sorry, my dear, but that is just not your style. You are air. And it is like a little toddler having heaps of energy. Let them run around. And when they get tired, they just simply drop. They drop into the stillness and they sleep. A similar philosophy is of the Sufi Darwish dancers who just move. They move and move and move till they drop into that point of stillness. So if someone has an Ayurvedic body type of Vata, which is more air, they will not be able to sit in stillness. And usually Vata type is connected to the mind type of Rajas. Rajas is the passion, the excitement, enthusiasm. I need to set this goal. I need to achieve this. I need to buy a house in 10 years. I need to do this. So these two, when combined together, then action is the key word, because you cannot stop them into stillness by themselves. And for these people, then Karma Yoga, the acts of service become the best pathway. When you go to the temple and offer your services, you are mopping the floor, or you are washing the dishes, or you are going for a walk. Whenever you are doing acts of service for other person, in doing of those acts, you start to find a stillness. You start holding awareness in that doing. That would be the best pathway. And then there is the Pitta type, which is fire and water. They are the geniuses. Fire is transformation. Any food put into the fire is cooked and it gives nutrition. In the same way, fire in the body takes the food and makes it into our bones, blood, muscles. So this fire then transforms the information. You are receiving information. You are listening to my words. They're registering in your brain. The fire in your brain will transform it and make it into your wisdom. When you will live through that experience, it becomes your wisdom. Otherwise, it's just a fact. These are just a few words I'm sitting here and saying. Unless you take it into your heart and use that fire to transform it and make it meaningful for you. So when Pitta comes, the fire, the transformation, with it comes the Sattva, the sattvic qualities of enlightenment, which means for them the keyword is contemplation. They need to understand everything. They need to understand in depth what is happening and why it is happening before taking the next step. And hence for them, the best recommended pathway is of Gyan Yoga, where they can go after the knowledge, where they can pursue the knowledge of what has been first discovered. They read the scriptures, they go into depth, and through that pathway, they find oneness with the divine. And remember, there is no right or wrong pathway, but it is simply that the diet of an ant and diet of an elephant is different. You can't serve the same quantity of food to both of them. In the same way, the meditation, these practices, they have to come to you in the way that you are able to digest, the way you are able to apply them in your life and make them your own. So the days when you feel I'm too aggravated, there's too much here, too much scattering going on, instead of trying to sit in the stillness, you start doing mantra chanting, you do pranayam, you start walking, you can do kirtan, you can go for a walk in nature, or you can do acts of service that help you to come back to that stillness. And on the days when you feel your mind is really bright and ready to absorb and transform, in those days, read the scriptures, read the textbooks of other people, contemplate, introspect, go deeper. What is this happening? Why did I get angry? What was a deeper belief I was holding about myself? Dive into it, become a detective of your mind. Become curious about the mind and use the Gyan Yoga to help you understand more about yourself. And then we have the Kapha type, which is earth and water. They are more dense. The water flows, but earth stays still. So there's a different proportion of combination in Kapha type. Some are more fluid and some are more dense in the way that heavy and sit. And usually with Kapha, we associate the Tamas. Tamas is usually said to be darkness or ignorance. And this is where one another key concept is when we talk about that stillness, many people are like, meditation means I have to sit in stillness and no thoughts and body is not moving. There are two kinds of stillness. The tamasic stillness is the stillness of a rock. A rock can sit on the surface of the earth for thousands of years with minimal changes. No transformation happening. So if you are doing your rituals every day, you're doing your prayers, your meditation, and yet your heart is not soft with compassion for other people, then there is no change happening. But the sattvic stillness is the stillness of the seed. When you plant a seed in the earth, from the surface, it seems like nothing is happening. But deep in the surface, lots of things are happening. Roots and shoots are being formed. New life is being created. And then one day that will burst through the earth's surface and bloom like a flower. And that is the kind of sattvic stillness we want, where the changes are happening in our heart. So the day our heart center opens up, the entire world can feel our love and compassion. They can feel that vibration coming from us. You know how we meet some people and we feel like, oh my God, I felt so good after meeting you, because we can feel their vibration, remember? And then there are some people, when you meet them, you feel like, oh, I feel so drained after meeting this person, because they're sucking out the energy. That's an entirely different topic. So we want the sattvic stillness. If you are aiming for stillness, a stillness that is helping you grow and become more, not a dead stillness. We want an alive stillness. And for kapha types in tamas, therefore, devotion works. They will move through emotion. They will move through love. For a kapha person, if you say you have to do exercise for health benefits, they will probably not do it. But from a place of love, if you do ask them to do it, emotionally motivate them, then they might do it. Yeah. So for devotion, bhakti yoga is the best one, because that becomes that relationship with the divine, and you are surrendering to the divine. You are implementing your emotional connection with the divine to go into that meditation. You can have conversations, you can have kirtan, and then you can sit in that alive stillness, where you can feel the presence of Lord Krishna inside your heart, around you, or everywhere, in every single cell of your body, till you can listen and feel like your whole body is a single heartbeat, simply chanting, simply feeling this aliveness, this consciousness. So this is where knowing your Ayurvedic body type, your mind type helps, because it helps you to choose the best pathway for you. But remember, every day, based on what you are feeling, you can change it. You can be like, okay, today I need to work with this. Today, this will help. Remember, there's no right or wrong way, but what is working for us in this moment. So this is, I'm bringing this to a conclusion because I'm mindful of the time as well and the question answers. But in my work with intuitive healing and with Ayurveda, with a lot of people, I find how to be free. Yes, we are bound with this action, but how do we become free of this? These are the few steps I have understood that really help. The first one is acknowledgement. Because many times we say, I'm fine, I don't have any problem, everything is fine, or it is just like this, or nothing can change, nothing is wrong. This is how it has always been done. So there are so many ways in which we trap our mind. So the first thing to be free is to know that we are free or not free. There is a story of the elephant that comes to the mind. As a baby, that elephant was always tied to a chain. And he tried to escape so many times, and every time he would find the chain is binding his feet. And when that elephant grew old, they cut the chain. The chain was not even bound. He was free. But because in his mind, the elephant thought it had been trained that I am bound, I cannot go anywhere. He spent the whole life there without the chain being tied to anything. Sometimes we become like that in our lives. We have a few experiences, and then we make a belief, a chain of beliefs for ourselves that this is what you try drawing one time, two times, someone said oh, that's horrible. And you have a belief, I don't do good drawing. I'm not a good artist. Some of you might have tried singing and someone would have said, oh, you are off note, and that's it, end. Even though you love singing, you stop singing because I am not a good singer. So first, acknowledging where are we holding ourselves? What is the belief we hold about ourselves? And that is an interesting exercise to do. What do I believe about myself? Am I good enough? Am I doing this right? Am I making the right choices? Do I deserve this? There are so many things when we start exploring, and then we can use it, the pitta, the journal writing, the contemplation, to explore what is it, and acknowledge, okay, what is happening? What do I want to change? What vibration am I holding and why? How can I make it into more higher vibration? And then comes the surrender. Before we go any further, once we have acknowledged, I'm trapped here, I'm not happy, I'm not happy with the way things are, I want to change it. Then after that acknowledgement comes a surrender. But the surrender is never in action. Surrender is always of the outcome. What is the outcome of this? And this is what Lord Krishna means by hand it over to me. You do the work and give it to me. You do the work means you are not surrendering the action. You are still taking the action, but the outcome of that action, you are surrendering to me and letting me take care of it. And that's why Arjun could see that everyone is already in the Lord's mouth. They are already in a way dead, but he's just becoming a channel for that. So once we are aware there's a problem, we surrender the outcome to divine, but take action, and we raise our spiritual strength. That will happen through these meditation practices. More and more we start sitting with ourselves, going deeper understanding, cultivating that alive stillness, that energy, that vibration of love. We will raise our spiritual strength. So, like for the moms here, when you are happy and the kids spill something, you are like, oh, that's all right, don't worry. But when you are stressed and you have a lot of things to do and the kids spill something, the anger comes out like, oh my God, did you really have to do this now? Now I don't have time to clean this up and this is happening. So what I mean to say is we only react to the situations when in a correspondence to our calmness, our spiritual strength. When we start building our spiritual strength, we will not be triggered by these emotions as much. We start feeling comfortable in ourselves that it's okay. We don't react to these situations as fast as we would have done in the past. And that helps us to not build the future karma. So instead of getting angry and upset, because of these practices now, we can just be, and then we are not planting the seeds for the next karma. And then next comes awareness, developing more and more awareness, which is unending. You can go deeper and deeper with the questions, with the contemplation. What is happening here? What is happening in the subconscious? And then we go into acceptance. Acceptance is very important. And it is funny because people think I accept everything in my life, but it is a simple fact. You are sitting here right now. Are you excited and happy about sitting here? Or are you thinking, oh, I have to do that one. I'd rather be doing that one. I have to sit here, but I want to do that. Then you are not in acceptance of this moment. You are, I would rather be somewhere else. I would rather be doing this. So for anything in your daily life, when you are doing the tasks, asking yourself, am I in acceptance? So we are all talking about karma. Your daily job is your karma. And when you go to your daily job, do you think, oh, I have to go to office today again? I would rather stay at home. Then that is not acceptance of your duty. Then you are not surrendering. But are you going from the place like, this is where God has placed me. This is what the universe wants me to do. And I will go and do my duty with all the love and devotion I can do. And then once that acceptance comes, then we start working with forgiveness. And forgiveness is not only for other people, but forgiveness for ourselves. That needs to come first, because it is very easy for us to forgive other people that, oh, it's okay, whatever you said, that's fine. But the things that we do to ourselves, sometimes we find it hard to forgive ourselves. And we have to hold that forgiveness if we want to dissolve that karma, because otherwise we will keep feeling guilty. And we would actually be like, oh, I did that wrong, and that's why this is happening. But we have to forgiveness, and that brings to atonement, the paschatap, that, okay, whatever happened, I am surrendering this now to you, divine. And I was not aware of this. I was not aware of consequences, but now I'm ready. I accept this has happened. And how can I move forward with this? Like the beautiful prayer of Ho'oponopono, I am sorry, please forgive me. Thank you. I love you. That is simply that acknowledgement and that acceptance and that forgiveness that, yes, this has happened, but now I'm ready to release it. You know, when say something happened 10 days ago and you got really angry, and now 10 days later, you are telling your best friend what happened, and you will notice the changes in your body. Your voice will get louder, your face will get redder, and you'll be like, this is what they said, and this is what happened. That moment is already gone. In that moment, what karma was meant to be has already happened. Because of past karma, you had that situation. But then if you are still holding on to the anger 12 days later, you are binding that karma one more time. Every time you are thinking about that situation, you are binding the karma again and again. And this is why meditation is the key, because then you can just process it once and let it go. You can stop thinking about that anger. You can truly let it go. If something bad has happened and you continuously think about it, you are constantly binding the karma. So to let it go, you have to stop thinking or change your perception of it, so that, and that changing of perception is that surrender, that, okay, I'm handing this over to God, let him do it. I will just do what I can do in this moment from a place of love. And that is the combination of forgiveness and atonement that I feel, because when we apply these steps, I don't know about the future lives, right? I will have to die to go into the afterworld and tell you, yes, this is what I saw. I don't know the past lives. I know this life. And in this lifetime, I have seen in this moment, the situation is causing pain. And when we apply these, when we start thinking in this way, feeling in this way, it helps us to feel better in this moment. Remember that vibration of love, that fear is cold and constrictive, and you're feeling cold and left alone and everything is going horrible. In that moment, we bring that little light of divine and say, God, please help me. Let me see the way. Show me how to do this. And suddenly we feel like a weight has been lifted and we feel we have the entire support of the universe. And yes, I can do this. I can move forward from here. And that is what is needed. Because if you ask me, what is the purpose of life? Yes, there are big things people want to do. But the simple thing I believe is we are taking this breath now. If we stop taking this breath now, this world will not exist for us. Then what is the purpose of life? This breath that I'm taking, can I take it from a place of love, compassion, gratitude, forgiveness? Or am I going to hold anger and hatred and resentment and fear in this breath? And that is our karma, to let go of this fear and anger and hatred and resentment. Let it go, let this drop, surrender everything and hold compassion and gratitude and forgiveness in our hearts with this breath, with every single breath. And for me, that feels like the way out of it just makes your life so beautiful in this moment. Then why would it not make it more beautiful in whatever is in the future? So this is my understanding. I'm still a seeker. I'm still learning. But from whatever experiences I have had through my own various meditation techniques, my understanding of doing work with clients over the last 20 years, helping them change their perception, helping them change their karma, to how will you take the action? How can you take action from a place of love? How can you let go of the past and release it with love? How can you co-create a beautiful future for you in which there is not anger and hatred, but love and compassion? I feel these are very powerful tools. Some of them are very, very simple, but they are very powerful in helping you transform the life. So I will now let any questions come.
Thank you, Navjot Kaur ma'am. Indeed, it was very lucid. It was very, very clear. And I feel like it was very captivating also. Now we just move towards this question answer round for the interactive session there. Now you can write your questions in the chat box and even you can ask them directly. Let me just see if I can find some questions in the chat box.
Can you please switch on your video?
Yes.
Krishna ma'am?
Yes, ma'am. Let me just see if there are some questions in the chat box. Okay, there's one question like, do Western ideologies support karma theory?
They do and they don't, because there are, in the Western ideology, the concept of reincarnation is new. It is a very Eastern concept of the reincarnation happening again and again. But regardless of that, like I said, we are in this present moment right now. And then I say to them, what does it matter? Because as a part of the healing, and it's interesting because I sometimes do the past life regression and we do go into incidents of the past life that are causing pain in the present life. But at the end of the day, this is what I say, it doesn't matter. It is the thread of the pattern that we need to catch. It is actually a very personal, some people, regardless of West or East, believe in past lives, some don't. So my answer to that is stay focused on the present moment. And if you are thinking about something from the past, even if it is a pattern, we need to release it, regardless of whether it comes from this lifetime or the past lifetime. I hope that answers the question.
Yeah, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
There is one more question. Could you please explain Prarabdha Karma?
Yeah. So there is, when I said that different, how do I explain this? Okay, so say for example, there is a city, okay, and there is an earthquake happens in that city. Yeah. So the people who were residents of the city, some of those people leave the city exactly 2 days before they go to some other city for a holiday or journeying somewhere else. And someone outside who has never been in that city comes in that city. That is the prarabdha karma, the accumulative group karma coming into action, that in that moment when that earthquake was meant to happen, all those people who had their karma of being trapped there were there in that moment. So Purva karma is the past karma that we all have done, and Prarabdha karma is the collective karma that we keep accumulating, and then it comes to fruition in a collective way.
There's one more question, ma'am. Does karma teach, or is it just a cynical belief?
It is up to you how you want to take it. It doesn't matter. See, at the end of the day, when I started my presentation, this is what I started with. We all want to feel loved and happy and joyful in our lives, right? Even if you are cynical of these concepts, can you still hold the vibration of compassion? Can you still live your life from a place of gratitude? Don't believe in karma, don't believe in reincarnation. I don't care. But every moment of your life, can you live it from a place of gratitude and love? At least that every single person can do, whether they believe it or not. And once you start doing it, it all starts dissolving. Because at the end of the day, we are thirsty and we need water. You don't, yes, someone might go, okay, water is 2 hydrogen molecules and 1 oxygen molecule. Water is called jal in this language. This water is of the ocean or the river. But at the end of the day, you simply have to drink the water. Once you drink the water, your thirst will be quenched. Same is with the karma theory. We can sit and discuss and talk, and there are so many other interpretations on this, right? But at the end of the day, if in this moment, we can hold compassion and love and gratitude in our heart, that is the quenching of the thirst. That will make us feel so happy in this moment that the life starts to become the beauty it is.
That was indeed very beautiful, ma'am. That was so nicely illustrated, like examples from daily routine life, and everything is so clear. Like, so really, as you have already explained, like doctrine of karma has been praised as a rational and morally edifying explanatory response to the existence of evil and apparent injustice in the world. Now, before calling our
Just one more question, Rachana.
ma'am,
Question.
if there are time constraints, like okay, I'll take one.
Just can we take one question, sir?
Yeah.
Yeah. Dr. Manjot, how would you relate this karma theory to the caste system, Varna system?
Yeah. So like I said, the karma and dharma. So dharma is based on our past karmas, the accumulative effect. We said the mind forms a personality, and based on that 5 elements, the body types are formed. And based on we call them when one thought happens in the mind, it's called a vasana, right? That is like a stream of water, like a bit of water. And then when there is repetitive vasana, repetitive thought, it becomes a sanskar. It becomes a part of that ID. And that ID then, based on the karma, it will do certain actions. Based on those actions, the next lifetime, everything is determined. What kind of parents we will have, or we will be born as orphans. Will we have any physical disability? What kind of culture we will be in, and what kind of caste system we will be in. So that is like an elaborate thread in the universe that goes on, that based on our past karma, yes, we can be born in any to experience. We can be born in the Kshatriya to experience that warrior because we want to have that battle, or born in anything. But then it comes to this lifetime, how do we become free of that limitation? So yes, it is sometimes this theory comes up that based on your actions, you are born in a particular caste. But I think it's more elaborate than just that you do bad actions, that's why you are born here. I think it's a collective thing. It's not good or bad. It simply is that, yes, for various reasons, you are born in this family, this culture, this caste. But now, how can you grow beyond that? Not focus on the physical body, which is, again, the clothes we are wearing, but understand yourself as that soul. So in that way, if we look at like Kabirji or Ravidas ji, they were born in this Dalit caste, like low caste. But they are the bhakts. Now we study them and we hold them in reverence. They have overcome their caste by connecting with the divine consciousness. And it is not even divine consciousness. It is like they did their karma, their daily duty with attention, with awareness. And then they spread the message of love and compassion. Instead of going into fear or anger that I'm low caste and these people are doing injustices, they just spread the word of compassion. Be kind to one another. Do the work you have been given. These are the common teachings. If we pick up any teaching from any spiritual teacher, they are very common. Love everyone, be kind to everyone, do your work.
Ma'am, can I ask a small question?
Yes.
Am I audible?
Yes,
Yes.
ma'am, you're audible. Yes.
Yeah. Ma'am, how do we love someone who's constantly sending negative energies in their thought and action and things of that kind? Though I want to love, I mean, I'm a human being. How can you help me? How to
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
If you can clarify. Yeah.
There are multiple layers to it. Your mind has created a story that this person is sending negative energy. They might be, they might not be. You don't know for sure, right? But in your mind is this strong belief that they are sending negative energy. Being in the physical body, first thing you can do is you can put a golden bubble around you. You can imagine that there is a golden shield that is keeping you safe. Because for us, feeling safe is the most important. If you're not feeling safe, you won't be able to meditate or go in and sit in. Anything you do, you will feel is being negated by the negative energy of this person, right? So first you put yourself in that golden shield. And then when you think about this person, look at their physical body and go deeper into their heart. And in their heart, you see the divine that you love, whether it's Lord Krishna or Goddess Durga, it does not matter. See that divine sitting in their heart, that even if it is this body, the heart is that, looking beyond the body into the center of the heart.
Okay, I mean to say that I should see Lord Krishna in their heart. I mean, instead of,
Exactly.
Yeah.
Because everything is Lord Krishna. That's what he said. All of this is me.
Yeah.
And many times I am from the Sikh religion. So when I work with people, this is Guru Nanak. This is Guru Nanak in front of me. And that's how I treat everyone. That if this is Guru Nanak in disguise in front of me, what would I do?
Okay.
When you start to think like that, you cannot be unkind. You can't be cruel, you know?
Okay. Yeah. Actually, I'm doing Sushumna Kriya every day. But maybe I've just started. It may take a long time for me to overcome all these hurdles because it isn't giving me immediate results. I don't think any Kriya experiences will give you immediate results, right? It'll take a long time.
No, it is again a concept. Again, it's mentioned in Geeta, like some people use the intellect, Gyan Yoga, to come to me. But if that doesn't work, then you use the acts of service. If that doesn't work, just use the devotion. If that doesn't, just surrender everything to me and think of me. That's it.
Okay.
So you don't even have to do that because you are thinking, I have to forgive this person. Hand it over to the Lord Krishna. Say, can you please help me? I don't know how to do this. I'm handing this over to you. Show me the way.
Okay.
Absolutely right, Manjot ma'am. Then that's why in Bhagavad-Gita, Lord Krishna has said, Sarva dharmanam parityaja mam ekam sharanam vraja aham va tvam sarva papebhyo mokshishmami mashucha. Means abandoning all duties, come to me alone for shelter. Be not grieved, for I shall release you from all the evils. And that's why we do practice Sarvam Krishnarpanamastu. So everything is being surrendered to Lord Krishna. And he is the one who can lead you, who can guide you, who can take you to the ultimate end of your life.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Thank you, Gansham, sir. Thank you. Really got it. Yeah.
Thank you, Navjot ma'am. Thank you. I hope all the doubts and queries are satisfied. Or still there is, if time permits, can we take few, or shall I proceed for the next part?
We can proceed.
Proceed.
Now I would like to invite our chairperson, Dr. Vishakha Chauhan ma'am, for her address to the gathering. But before that, here is a brief introduction about her. Dr. Vishakha Chauhan ma'am is currently working as principal, Tilak Postgraduate College, Bassi, Jaipur. Pursuing a remarkable teaching career, she has taught at Shri Bhavani Niketan Girls PG College, Jaipur for considerable 13 years. She has also worked as head of department of English at S.S. Jain Subodh Postgraduate College, Jaipur for 5 years. Here, she has organized a national conference on transforming society through literature and social movement in 2019. Honing her academic skills, she has presented papers in many national and international conferences. She is a member of faculty in Board of Studies for English for University of Rajasthan. She is also working as a counselor for IGNOU and Kota Open University. We are pleased to welcome ma'am, and kindly ma'am oblige us with your address. Dr. Vishakha Chauhan ma'am.
Am I audible, ma'am?
Yes, you are audible.
Thank you so much, ma'am, Rachna ma'am, for the warm introduction. Good evening, everyone. Good evening, Harpreet ma'am, Ghansham sir, and Manjot ma'am, and all other participants here. Ma'am, it was really a very delightful session, enriching session. We have learned a lot about meditation, the significance of meditation, and your references, your entire lecture. It was so captivating. I'm sorry, I have bad thoughts. The way you have explained in detail the theory of karma, your explanation of intention, and your definition of good and bad intentions. You explained about action, inaction, non-action, liking and disliking. They all are related to karma and the journey of soul. It was really very, very enriching for us. And as far as we know about the theory of karma, we have what we have heard more often a thing that what goes around comes around. So we have heard this. It is really true that we have to suffer the causes that we have created in this birth. According to Bhagavad-Gita, every action of ours has an effect or consequence. And we have to suffer or enjoy the consequence the same without fail. And it is true. Also, Bhagavad-Gita has stated that no action of any man goes unnoticed, and despite the superiority, the after effect will not get pacified. If we relate this to science even, the Newton's third law states the same. So Bhagavad Gita has played an important role for guiding modern men in the performance of day-to-day duties. Some great thinkers like some religious and political leaders, Mahatma Gandhi, Arvindo Ghosh, Bal Gangadhar Tilak, Swami Vivekanand, and so many other great men have been greatly influenced by the ideal karma yoga. The philosophy of karma is a doctrine to consider being the foundation stone of the entire Indian philosophical outlook. Karma also stands for the accumulation over multiple births. It is like an eternal bank account of a soul. Like all our good and bad deeds are accumulated in that account, and we accumulate this karma in numerous births. We take in different forms as insects, plants, birds, animals, humans, etc. So based on the amount of positive and negative karma accumulations in our birth, the Yamraj, the authority that controls time, will take out a part of karma and decides our next birth. So at the same time, it depends on our good and bad accumulation too. If we have more good, we will get better parents and circumstances. So that is the reason for all the differences we see in the world, that we see that that boy, that girl is more fortunate to get birth in such a family. So it all is the result of their previous birth karma. So there is absolutely no partiality in this. A soul will get its next birth purely based on his karma. And ma'am, you have also explained about the theory of the cause of pain, that is attachment. And it was very well explained in the 16th chapter of Gita. Divine attributes have been given, and the this first place has been given to the fearlessness in the 16th chapter of Gita. And that theory of fearlessness is about our external fears and our internal fears. And there is a kind of thing which has been given to the which should be taught to every person, that if we get rid of attachment, then we will like our all fears will disappear automatically. Once we think that we have been sent on this earth as a caretaker, not as a proprietor. The problem starts when we understand ourselves as proprietors, and we get this proud ahankar and this feeling of attachment. Once we leave this, we will have Satyanarayan face to face, the God of truth. And then we can get that kind of freedom which you were talking about. So, ma'am, actually, it was very enriching session, and we learned a lot about meditation. That was a part actually in my college days. Professor used to say that every literature student has to go through Bible. But today I'm feeling that in our curriculum, we should have some kind of reformation, and some chapters of Gita should be taught to them. That is very necessary. Even in school days, they should be taught about some chapters of Gita, and in our college also. And for literature students, it should be compulsory to learn Gita. This is my opinion. And thank you so much, ma'am, for this beautiful session. And I feel quite enriched. And I'm thankful to Harpreet, ma'am, for giving me the chance to chair this enriching session, and Ghanshyam sir, Professor Ghanshyam sir, who has started this beautiful and this beautiful wind which blows every Sunday and fills with so many fruits and blossoms with the Sahitya Sangam. And we meet here on this platform every Sunday and get enriched. So thank you so much. Over to you, ma'am.
Thank you, Vishaka Chaun, ma'am. That was you had very given very good and excellent oration as such, and really it was very insightful. Now moving to the next phase, appreciation can make a day, even change a life. Your willingness to put things into words is all that is necessary. Now I would like to call upon Honorable Ghanshyam sir, founder and General Secretary iSPELL, to kindly do the honor of presenting the certificates of appreciation to the dignitaries. Over to you, Ghanshyam sir.
Thank you, Rachna. Pramod, can we have the certificates? Yeah, before going to distribute the certificates, indeed, it's an honor to listen to such a wonderful, intelligent, as well as thought-provoking talk of Ms. Manjot Garcha. Always, somewhere I have read when Matthew Arnold has written, "Oh, born in days where wits were fresh and clear, and life ran gaily as the sparkling Thames, before this strange disease of modern life, with its sick hurry, its divided aims. So today the aims are divided. Today we are also divided, and we need a uniformity. We need to be united together. And that union, that to build a kind of an association could be done only by reading all these texts. And as far as Bhagavad Gita is concerned, it's the essence of every branch of knowledge. It's not only related to management. It's not only related to life. It's not only related to literature. It's not related only to geography. It's not related only to history, but it relates each and every aspect of our life. Right from top to bottom of our body, Bhagavad Gita flows like anything. It glows like anything, and it grows with us. So that particular essence is there in Bhagavad Gita. And that's why in chapter 3, verse 7, Lord Krishna says, "He who controls the senses by the mind, O Arjuna, and without attachment engages the organs of action in the path of work, he is superior." So we need to be superior with that. And if we can do that, then definitely the relevance of all these things, including the Bhagavad Gita, will be there always in our lives. If we want to read Bhagavad Gita with different interpretations, it is necessary to read Bhagavad Gita's translation, which Mahatma Gandhi has done. It is necessary to read Bhagavad Gita with Radha Krishnan's translation. And then if you want to relate Bhagavad Gita, then read Radha Krishnan's The Recovery of Faith. Then you will certainly understand all these things together, and they are so engrossed with each other, they are so connected with each other that you cannot separate it. So Bhagavad Gita, right from the early morning till the bedtime, it flows with us. And every individual, like I said in the earlier part of the question and answer, like Sarva means entire thing is to be devoted to Krishna. Sarvam Krishnarpanamastu. So everything we need to surrender to Lord Krishna, and he is the one who can take us and who can lead us, who can guide us towards the ultimate of our lives. So for doing the honors, Ms. Manjot Garcha, this certificate is a token of gratitude from iSPELL, Indian Society for the Promotion of English Language and Literature. And today is the 80th Sahityik Satsang of iSPELL, and it was really a satsang, because satsang means when all the intellectual minds, they come together, they discuss on it, and they not only empower themselves, but at the same time, this should go contagious, that they should spread these thoughts and ideas to other people also, so that all of them can come together and make a wonderful society of us. So thank you very much for doing the honors. This certificate goes to Dr. Vishakha Chauhan, who happens to be the chairperson of today's event. And indeed, it's kind of a time-taking position that a chairperson has to listen to the resource person right from the beginning till end, and has to not only has to gather all the things, whatever the speaker is saying, but at the same time, the chairperson has to put his or her own thoughts with the speaker's remark. And for doing the honors, this certificate goes to Dr. Vishakha Chauhan for being the chairperson of the 80th Sunday Sahityik Satsang. Ma'am, please accept it. You're muted.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you.
And this certificate, of being the master of the ceremonies, goes to Dr. Rachana Mishra, and for doing the honors, being the master of ceremony, because the job of master of ceremony is to take the front lead right from the beginning till end, and has to be there all the time, taking up the questions, and then also to look at the time also, so that the time should not exceed. And we always have it in our mind that every Sunday Sahityik Satsang should not exceed 90 minutes, 1.5 hours. So that's the role of the master of ceremonies, and for doing that in a wonderful way, this certificate goes to Dr. Rachana Mishra.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
And now this certificate goes to the lady who has led us in the month of March, who has marched forward in the month of March and leading us right from the beginning of the first Sunday of March till the last Sunday of March, Dr. Harpreet Kaur Garcha, who happens to be the event coordinator for this entire month, and she is the first one to take up this charge among the forums that we have. And this is the first forum which has been created out of iSPELL India, and she is the president of iSPELL Chhattisgarh Forum, and she is the convener of the month of March, and for doing all these gatherings in the month of March, and for bringing all the very learned resource persons in the month of March, and to make iSPELL March ahead. This certificate is a token of gratitude to Dr. Harpreet Kaur Garcha. Ma'am, please accept it.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. I'm greatly obliged. And I thank you for showing that faith and trust that I could do it, sir. I hope I did come up to your expectation.
Yes, ma'am. I always read Recovery of Faith. So whenever I lose faith, I read Recovery of Faith. Then once again, I recover faith. Because without faith, there is nothing in this world. So faith is the one thing which leads us to our aim. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, sir. It was a great learning experience for me.
Thank you. And this is the 81st Sunday Sahityak Satsang. And like the month of March was devoted to Dalit studies with Bhagavad-Gita, in the same way, the month of April is going to be on research side. So we are going to bring various nuances related to research methodology, what is MLA, what is APA style, and to bring all the scholars and the supervisors together and to make them understand about the various things related to research. This particular month of April is going to be the month of research activities. So this is our next event, which is coming on the first Sunday of April. And these are the forums we have. We have 7 forums till now. And today in the evening at 7 o'clock, we are going to inaugurate the 8th forum of iSPELL. That's iSPELL Tamil Nadu Forum, which is not here. There are only 7 forums here. And today the forum will be inaugurated. And soon the forum will join this lot. And in the next event, you will find there are 8 forums of iSPELL in India. So thank you very much for being there on the platform of iSPELL. Over to Rachna.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir, for your inspirational words as well as motivational initiatives. Now I would like to invite Honorable Garcha ma'am for delivering the closing address to the gathering. Garcha ma'am.
Thank you, Rachna. Thank you so much. Events of this nature are not practically feasible without the guidance, encouragement, cooperation, and support. And it is my humble duty to express my gratitude and thanks to all. And the list is long because I've been blessed with many such people. I would like to quote Martin Luther. I quote, "An individual has not shared living until he rises above the confines of his individualistic concerns to the broader concerns of all humanity." And indeed, it is people like Professor G.A. Ghanshyam who have risen above their individualistic concerns and comfort zones to cater to the broader concerns of promoting English language and literature, facilitating to elevate all. I really express my thanks to our visionary and the mastermind behind iSPELL. Thank you so much, sir, for giving me this opportunity. My heartfelt thanks to our eminent speakers who were a part of this March event: Professor Shivalinga Swami, Professor Akshay Kumar, Professor Deepika Dhand, and Dr. Manjot Kaur, who, despite their busy schedule, spared their time to grace the iSPELL platform. Thank you, and we are very grateful and acknowledge your expertise and professional competence and being a part of this event. Thank you very much. Again, my heartfelt thanks to all our chairpersons, distinguished people for their contribution and acceptance of chairing the session. I'm very grateful to Dr. Amrita Kasture, Dr. Neelu Srivastava, Dr. Virendra Turkar, and of course, today's chairperson, Dr. Vishaka Chauhan. Thank you for your enlightening summing up and your insightful and enlightening inputs, ma'am. Thank you for being with us. I would also like to thank our moderators for this road mapping and smooth sailing of the events. I would like to express my gratitude towards the Master of Ceremonies, Dr. Anita Saha, Dr. Rita Soni, Ms. Srishti Sharma, and Dr. Rachna Mishra. I owe special gratitude to our patron, CG Forum, Professor Kirti Tiwari, for her consistent guidance, appreciation, and affectionate support. Your presence is always moral boosting, ma'am. Thank you for being there for us every time. I would also like to register and acknowledge the presence of our EC members who have always guided and supported us. Our president of iSPELL, Dr. Anupama Vora, Dr. Shalini ma'am, the founder of Rajasthan Forum, Dr. Murli Krishnan, Dr. Indrani Ristal, Dr. Sachdeva, Dr. Prashanta Chakravarti, and all others who have always there and a part of this event. We are grateful for their presence and word of encouragement. Thank you for your kindness, interest, and unfailing support. I owe my special thanks to all the participants who have registered their presence to ensure the resounding success of this event. And ends are not bad things. Actually, there is no real ending. It just means that something else is about to begin. And iSPELL begins, as Sir had said recently, that April will be yet another feast of 4 weeks of Sunday Sahityik Satsang on research methodology. And iSPELL marches forward to a new month with new chapter, new page, and new wishes. And looking forward and anticipating your similar support in the forthcoming session also. And I would sum up in the words of Robert Frost. In 3 words, I can sum up everything I have learned in life. It goes on, and definitely we will we're looking forward to the forthcoming events. And thank you once again. I hand over to Rachna for the formal vote of thanks. Thank you for being there. Rachna ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am. Let us be grateful to people who make us happy, and they are like charming gardeners who make our souls blossom. First and foremost, I express my heartfelt gratitude towards our keynote speaker, Madam Navjot Kaur, for her comprehensive and in-depth exploration and excellent discourse on the topic. I would also like to thank Madam Vishaka Chauhan for gracing the occasion as chairperson and her exceptional analysis and remarkable address. I'm equally grateful towards our General Secretary and founder of iSPELL, G.A. Ghanshyam sir, for his motivational utterances. I feel gratitude towards Pramodji and other members of the technical team for their constant devotion and consistent support in carrying out this big responsibility week after week. And I express my sincere gratitude, and from bottom of my heart, I express my thanks to Honorable Garcha ma'am for her unwavering faith and conviction that we can do and take initiatives in this field and all, and for her persistent encouragement. I express my sincere gratitude towards member of executive committee and all the participants for making this session so lively and so interesting. So with your due permission, if you allow, I shall declare the closure of the session. Shall I, Garcha ma'am? Shall I declare the closure of the session?